by the time that draft actually starts, it should be. So, welcome, Fusion Fantasy Football podcast, live stream, all that good stuff. I am joined. And, see, I had that turned off. Yeah, we know what we're doing here. Third time's the charm. We got this all figured out. I really do. I just forgot I had that other thing up just to get the link. All right, so I don't know when this YouTube thing will actually kick in for sure, but we are on the podcast live. I'm joined tonight by some of the same guys as before. We got some new people in the mock, but I don't think any new people on the stream. That's fine. I have here Jake the Snake. He's back again, fresh off his own live stream. Recently, haven't been able to check it out yet.
Yeah, glad to be here. Doing a live stream by yourself is scary, but I figured it out. I like StreamYard a lot, so I was glad to use it for once.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool setup they got in here. George, BFTG Pod, welcome.
What's up?
Dan is back again. Dan Lamagna, thank you.
Pleasure to be here, guys. Can't get enough of it. One more test run before the real deal, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Last one. And I don't know if we got audio working over there for Casey Fantasy Champ.
I am good. I'm in.
You are good. Sounding good. How am I sounding, gentlemen? I was a little quiet last time. You tried warning me, but
Perfect.
Sounds
perfect. Okay. I think Crocker's trying to hop in here, but when he does, he does. But we are going to get this draft rolling. I think I see mostly green across the board. Need to tag a few people here again. But, yeah, we'll try and get them going here. All right, so I'm wondering if... I already asked a little bit of collusion behind the scenes, asked Jake, what are the odds? So now I got to ask Fantasy Champ here, what are the odds that Lamar Jackson actually makes it to the 3 tonight?
Wow. I know Jake's answer.
Yes. I already got his answer. I want to know your answer.
I'm a Mahomes guy, so he'll get to you.
That's what I said.
Because I haven't done that yet, and I'm generally against it usually. I wanted to try it.
Oh, I guess you'll get your chance. But now that I know, do I just screw you up?
I'll
do
pick
it.
Mahomes.
Do it. Do it. Yeah, it's like Mahomes is the constellation prize now. This is fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Maybe I should just take Lamar at 1.01. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do Lamar 1-1, do Mahomes at 1-2, and just really tilt Josh.
Yeah.
Just make him tilt. I mean, he gets McCaffrey. I mean, it's not tilting that hard, I guess, but still.
All right, welcome to whoever's watching. Probably just other people in the mock draft. That's fine. You're welcome to. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started. We'll see if I actually get Mahomes or not.
So this is pretty easy pick for me. I've said CMC the first time I was on. And what's up?
So Barkley?
No, CMC.
Oh,
Yeah, just going chalk.
I would say the point of these mocks is to mix it up, do a different strategy, see how it works. Man,
I know
101.
I know who I'm going with. So for me, the 2.12 and the 3.01 are where I change it up.
strategy starts in the second when you're at the 1. And he goes Mahomes. So like I said, I'm gonna, like George said, try something a little different. All the people I shouldn't be telling you this, actually, it's a secret. But a lot of the people from the 103, and it's the truth, a lot of people are saying you should be going Lamar Jackson here. So I'm gonna try it.
Does that mean you don't necessarily believe it?
I'm very much on the fence. There's a lot of strong arguments, especially with the way I'm very much against it on normal quarterback scoring, but obviously this is different, and there's an actual cliff that there isn't usually there. And so the exact same reasons I usually like to go running back early, the same exact strategic reasons now apply to quarterback too. So Barkley goes next, Brian.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us. Kelsey, Byron's trying something new tonight too. Kelsey fifth.
That is a wrinkle there.
Well, I'm pretty sure the 4 and 5 guys took those thinking like that the top 3 or at least 2 of them are going running back. You know, they think they're going to get one of these quarterbacks that fall. Well, Fantasy Champ and I just screwed them up. So.
Oh yeah.
You got your dude.
Go ahead, Dan. Take him.
Didn't even think about that. I let him get to you then.
What do y'all think about MT over Kamara?
I like Kamara.
That's where I lean too. It's interesting though.
I mean, I'd much rather have Kamara than any of the running backs that are going to fall back to you. And then you have the chance of Devontae Adams. Well, I guess not.
Adams went really early.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
last time we did this, we went to 211.
Yeah.
So you guys are making this very difficult for me. I just want to let you know that.
Kittle,
I'm not happy at this moment. Couple guys I was hoping that would fall: Michael Thomas, Dalvin Cook. I'd been very happy with either one of them. I'm going to try something different.
He's doing it. The tight end plunge.
All right.
Are you going to double dip? Dodgers on here at the turn.
And I think he's probably upset I took Kittle, knowing the way Neil
I know
drafts.
That's why you took him too. That's kind of why I was egging him on.
I didn't think he would come back to me. Neil, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong if you're listening, but I don't think he was coming back.
I'm pretty sure Neil, their clock Dodgers, he's taken at least 1, if not 2 tight ends on the at the end, if not at the turn, each of the last couple Scott Fish Bowls.
Considering he hasn't picked yet, it looks like he was going tight end.
Yeah, and it's worked out. I mean, I think maybe I don't know how he did last year, but I know a couple years ago he was up in the top. I don't know, 50 scoring, if not better than that.
Wow.
I don't know, Neil. You got 30 seconds left.
It shows green, so I guess he's here.
There it is.
There he is.
Chubb and Henry back to back. He's mixing it up tonight too.
Everybody's mixing it up. I love this.
I don't know if I've ever seen Neil go that direction.
I've never seen him go that direction. Never. Well,
you go, George.
I'm going to do this one because I love Josh. Just because I love you, brother.
He's not going to let that happen, I guess.
I want to see how this plays out because, I've been saying all along in my actual draft, if Kelsey and Kittle are available at those 2 spots, I've been saying I will definitely take both of them. So I want to see how this plays out.
Mark Andrews often falls all the way back. So if you, I'll be honest, one of the things I wanted to try was if he came to 210, I was going to take him.
Yeah. No, I want to try the two tight ends in this format. I don't think it's super crazy to take the 2 tight ends to start.
But this has been a very anti-quarterback start.
It has. And I took that into consideration as well.
Russell Wilson's our quarterback 3 at 203.
You know you just started to run by saying that, Josh.
I know, right?
Probably.
That's fine. That's good. I already have my quarterback. So to close out the first, because technically I am recording this for a podcast, we got, of course, CMC, Mahomes, Jackson, Barkley, Kelsey at the 5, then Elliott, Michael Thomas, Kamara, Adams, Dalvin Cook, Kittle, and then on the turn, Clock Dodgers went Chubb and then Henry. George took Mark Andrews there to ruin my hopes and dreams. Russell Wilson. Now we got Deshaun Jackson. Here come the quarterbacks.
You mean Deshaun Watson, right?
Deshaun Watson. I meant. I wish.
Deshaun Jackson going in the second. I want to call it now. I think that's a reach.
Yeah.
Maybe JJ Taylor at 210 or something.
Yeah. Joe Mixon.
Yes.
And,
So I can't
Josh
believe they're
Jacobs
going to let
done.
Dan get his quarterback too. Man.
Can anywhere in
Alright.
real life that really happen in the Scott Fish Bowl for me? I doubt it.
No.
Oh.
What's
What's
up?
up, Neil?
Neil
Possibility.
can,
I'm done.
how
I
you
quit
feel
for the
about
night.
that? Welcome to the stream, Neil.
You can auto pick the rest. I'm good. No, I was kidding.
Dan's logging off.
That was
Dan got his
fantasy
Dak
gold.
Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys wet dream going here, so he's all done.
Wow.
Hey, Dan, if Zeke went 1.05, would you go Kamara at 1.06? I think you did that last time.
No, I went Dak last time. I wanted to get that franchise quarterback to stabilize the roster there. And again, that strategy was unless someone slid to me, and in this draft, someone slid.
And you got the guy a whole round later.
That's gold.
It's wild.
Yeah, he varies a lot. It really does.
I would have
Drew
took
Brees
Watt.
getting swept out from underneath. I got Lamar Jackson, so I'm like, I don't care. Right?
So Josh, if Drew Brees would not have gone there, would you have
Yes.
gone back-to-back quarterbacks?
I actually definitely was going to consider it. If one of the top, to me, 6 quarterbacks here was still there. I've said all along, I'm just taking ones at the position, and if I can get the the quarterback one, great. If Breeze, I feel is in that top tier, but he's the last one. I would
Okay.
have to go. There's one name here maybe somebody might like, but probably not me. Yeah, I've got some interesting choices here. I do wonder. It's not too long till I pick again, so I'm thinking I might. I'm getting a little echo out there. Somebody's got something open. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
go with a stack. No, I'm not. Just
Taking
kidding.
CEH.
Yeah, I'm regretting the Lamar Jackson decision already. So I got to go with my boy Eckler.
Go on brand. You can never go wrong going on brand.
Some reason it won't let me scroll down to see the players here.
So are you doing it on the desktop?
Yes.
I had that same issue the other night. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone, and it is 1,000 times easier to draft on the phone than it is on the desktop for some reason.
Interesting. Because
They
They
now
don't even have. I was just gonna say they don't even have the trade features added to the desktop yet.
all right. Well, I can't really see.
Not a bad pick.
I guess.
Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, Kenyon Drake are kind of this little clump of the back end running back ones that go anywhere around here. So
Drake slid to me
That
to
was-
3-6 in our last draft.
yeah,
That's a lucky
Yeah.
tonight.
there was a lot more quarterbacks and tight ends so far in that one.
I
Back to
feel like
Jake.
1.01. This is about what you're gonna see. Like your top choices are Aaron Jones and the receivers of Julio, Tyreek Hill, Hopkins.
it's been worse for you as far as quarterback options with this pick in the past.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray at the 2-3 turn. I'm not going to go Josh Allen. I just feel like it's a reach to get any of the remaining quarterbacks here.
Okay. You're going to dig in. All right. Taking Aaron Jones. Shore up that running back.
Yep.
And we'll see what he does with the next one. I mean, I like the idea of if you can. I mean, you got Christian McCaffrey and you're here at a position. If there's still someone else you like there, I've wondered what it'd be like to just go 3 running backs and then just not worry about them for a while.
If Kenyon Drake or Austin Eckler fell, I would do it.
Mhm.
I just feel like the remaining ones, it falls off a little bit.
Really?
I agree.
Fournette's interesting, but with the possibility of Chris Thompson taking some of his receiving upside, I just would rather stay away and go with Julio.
So I'm curious about that. I know Chris Johnson, or not Chris Johnson.
Thompson.
Yes, thank you, Chris Thompson. Hell of a wide running back that can catch out the backfield. But after seeing what Leonard Fournette did last year, coming out the backfield with his pass catching ability, do we really think that Thompson's going to cut in that much?
I think he's just an option when Fournette's gassed and he has to come off the field. They refused to take him off the field last year. They didn't have anyone else.
Can I agree with both of you? Because
absolutely, you can. You 100% you can.
Well, I should say not necessarily agree because I always disagree with you, George. One, I don't think that Chris Thompson is that much of a threat. I just, he might have some good games and might get him worked in. But on the other hand, I don't think Fournette was actually very good with the work that he got. I did something where I had kind of made my own weighted opportunities and did a fantasy points per weighted opportunity, where it gave 2.5 rushing attempts equaling 1 target. So it kind of balanced it out. And in the bucket of players that had as much volume, as many weighted opportunities as Fournette did, he had like the worst fantasy points per an opportunity. It really wasn't that great.
I think the other argument to be made is, are you going to take a question mark like Fournette when Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, and DeAndre Hopkins are sitting there waiting for you?
Hey, Josh, you got 15 seconds, just so you know.
I know. And just take Zach Ertz.
That means they can't go 3 tight ends.
I was looking at some Fournette. He had 100 targets last year. So maybe it's some of Chenault comes in, takes some of those. I could see Chris Thompson taking some of those, and I mean it could drop him down to 50. It obviously depends how much he gets gassed, as we said, and all of that.
I think 75 is probably more realistic. I don't see them cutting his. I don't see them cutting it in half.
So do you still see him as an RB1?
My choices really were between Fournette then Ertz there for me. I do like him.
As a top 12 running back, I would say yeah. I mean, he only had 3 total touchdowns last year. So, I mean, I expect that number to go up at least twice as much. So if he gets anywhere between 6 to 8 touchdowns this year, which is completely reasonable, I think, easily he'll be a top 12 running back as long as he stays healthy.
That's what I was going to say. If that offensive line just protects anything better inside the 5, he makes up some points. I mean, he was getting tackled in the backfield last year.
Well, right after me, Brian took DeAndre Hopkins. So now the third looks, it's Julio, Tyreek. I took Zach Ertz. We got Hopkins. And now Byron took Kyler Murray. Finally, he went right around here last time as well. I guess, I don't know. It seems like we're being pretty nice letting the quarterbacks fall tonight.
Yeah, that's a nice start.
I appreciate it.
Sanders, Kyler Murray.
I like that. The gamble going Kelsey at 5 might pay off. Still waiting on Dan here.
This is a tough one, but you're in my head. I'm gonna go with the Uncle Lenny pick there.
Yeah, I like that for you. I kind of like the volume Ertz gave possibly more, but Fournette, as much as I was saying he wasn't particularly efficient, if he gets the volume, then who cares?
I'd say that's definitely a teardrop too, from Fournette to anybody else remaining.
Yeah, there's kind of like a half tier in between here and the next, where there's just like 1 or 2 running backs that I don't have with Fournette, but they're ahead of the rest of them as well.
That's what I feared too. Even if a few more running backs go, it'd get really thin by the time it got around to me.
Yeah, and that's why I really struggled with Fournette or Ertz, because it's like I'm going to be really uncomfortable, guys.
That's why
y'all y'all remember my running backs last time? Jonathan Taylor, Darius Geis. That was ugly.
Crocker takes Kirk Cousins at the 308. Aaron Rodgers 309. Here we go. Quarterback run. Don't leave any for Neil on the turn, guys. Come on.
I got him. Don't
Keep
worry.
it going.
Benjamin takes Chris Godwin.
So starting off going tight end, looking at how many running backs have gone, and typically they go pretty fast. I'm actually surprised that I'm going to be able to get this guy here.
Chris Carson.
Nope, Todd Gurley. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy having him as my RB1 in this situation.
I actually missed him. I'd sort of put him up in that Fournette tier.
Yeah, I would too.
I forgot about him too.
If I didn't take Lenny, I would have took Godwin, and then they'd be hoping for a Gurley just to maybe slide, although I wasn't holding my breath. Good pick.
Yeah,
I had a question about the wide receivers at that 2-3 turn out of Julio, Hill, and Hopkins. Like, who do y'all like right there?
I think Julio's the safest. I think Hill has the most upside. That's how I would rank him. So if I want to go safe, I'm going to go Julio, Hill, and then Hopkins.
I might go Julio, Hopkins, and then Tyreek. But I do understand why you took Tyreek having Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Yeah.
That stack really kind of opens up your ceiling a little bit for potential.
All right. Come on, Neil. You know you want
Well,
Derek Carr
that
here.
wasn't the most obvious pick I've ever seen. The Raiders fan goes Darren Waller at 312. Couldn't take him in the fourth. Had to use the third on him. I wonder if he might take Carr here. And I
don't think he will.
I wouldn't even hate it. Because Carr, what was he, like quarterback 8 or 9 in the scoring last year? His weapons only improved. We're already at quarterback 9. So this would be the 10th. Next one's going to be the 10th one.
Too many other quarterbacks on the board to take Carr here, though.
Yeah, there are.
Especially with Mariota looming.
I don't know if I'm worried about Mariota, but
I'm not
you never
worried about
know.
Mariota.
You got Wentz.
There's definitely some guys that I think are safer bets than Carr that are available.
But evidently he's definitely struggling with the decisions here because he's letting this clock go all the way down.
He's probably listening to our analysis of his pick, just chuckling.
And that is why.
How can I say this, Neil? If you're listening, reach.
Clyde.
All right. So after going tight end, looking at this board, I can't go another 22 picks without taking a quarterback. So I'm definitely taking a quarterback here. You guys have been very generous to me thus far. I don't know if it's sympathy or what, but I'm not going to shy away. I'll take it. I'm going to go with Matt Ryan here. Give me the upside of Matt Ryan as a quarterback one for me.
Fun little quarterback running back stack you have.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks a lot.
Benjamin go on right after Matt Ryan. He goes Melvin Gordon very quickly. He's happy with just Russell Wilson as quarterback so far.
I think he's looking at the board and thinking he's got his QB1.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, not in a rush to get his QB2. Thinking there's still a lot of good ones left that he'll take and be happy with.
I mean, only 6 wide receivers have even been picked, and we're at the 4-4.
And I did look at the wide receiver position. I debated going there, especially knowing we got to start 3. And there's a couple that I would not mind taking there, but I'm just scared to go another 22 picks without a quarterback.
I think you have to have that anchor. it'll be interesting to see how this roster here with that Watson Rodgers stack, does that cost them later on? We had a lot of good talk how we lost value the last draft by reaching on some quarterbacks.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine he is gonna be looking at running back right here, but he doesn't. He goes Kenny Galladay.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Wow.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, there he is. Finally, Galladay and DJ Moore. Usually I see it the other way around, but I like it. Well, it just depends on who you're with. Some people are crazy about DJ Moore.
I think I like Kenny Galladay's quarterback better.
Same.
Agree. Even though there's not always quite as much volume, I believe DJ Moore got as many, if not more, targets than Galladay did even just last year.
I'm gonna be like a kid in a toy store here, boys.
Oh boy!
give me the trifecta.
Oh my God.
That offense needs to perform.
Hey, you can just change your name to Trinidad.
Yeah, right.
Cowboys here at the 6th spot.
Boom or bust.
He goes Amari Cooper. So he's got the Zeke, Dak, some guy named Leonard Fournette, and then Amari Cooper here. Wentz goes 4-8. And I'm on deck with Brian Pickens.
So DJ Moore had 16 more targets than Kenny G did last year.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, but who was throwing the ball?
136 to 120 or something like that?
135 to 116.
Oh.
Yeah, and there were times when David Blau was throwing the ball to Kenny G.
Yeah, Stafford only played 8 healthy games. So
yep.
And Galladay still did what he did. So I'm high on him this year, but I can't deny that, what DJ Moore could be if that offense, picks up. Tom Brady, that kind of hurts a little bit. I could have.
That's twice. That's twice they got you there.
Yeah, I'm not too hurting. If I really want a quarterback, I still got a couple options. I mean, I think. I mean, come on, wide receiver. There's how many of them are there? They just you can scroll down and they just keep going. There's good ones. I'm not going to take a wide receiver here. Sorry, George. I mean, you're welcome, George. David Johnson, I guess he's got, I think, best upside as far as running back right here. So we'll try that.
That one was gross to me. I mean, he definitely has the highest ceiling, I would say, out of any RB remaining.
Really?
Well, okay. I guess you could throw James Conner in there. Maybe Chris Carson, but
that's who I was thinking.
There's a bunch in here that, due to either health or just situation, are gross, but that they could be good. But gross.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, 411. Here come the wide receivers. Please keep taking wide receivers.
So I know who my first pick will be. I'm still trying to decide on my second pick. So I'll milk the clock.
Picked a bad time to take a drink of my beverage. All right, so we're gonna let's start guessing who he's gonna take here, guys.
Quarterback: Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, or
I know he likes Stafford too.
Right? Oh, Stafford for sure. Yeah, I didn't even realize he wasn't gone.
I mean, that's who I passed on for quarterback. I figured I might because I figured I was going to let him have it if I didn't take him right there. But I don't know. There's some others there that he might like more. I'm not sure how he feels about, Daniel Jones, Garoppolo, Goff.
So definitely Stafford.
Yep. Knew it.
This next pick feels so weird because there's so many decent quarterbacks still around. There's some good high upside running backs still hanging out.
Almost all the positions have dropped a couple tiers now.
Yeah, I agree.
there's not many that are still hanging out there at any position, except for wide receiver, but who cares? George,
Yes.
looking at the board, waiting here. It's gonna be a while until you pick.
Yep.
Are you still like your 2 tight ends?
So far, I think being able to get Todd Gurley at the 311, I think that made me feel a lot better about it. And then being able to come back to get Matt Ryan at the 4-2. I'm going to be I'll probably be very, I don't want to say weak at wide receiver, but it's not going to be as strong as it would be if I had gone wide receiver in one of those 2 spots.
Yeah,
Clearly.
I just couldn't help but notice that you didn't have any wide receivers, so I think you might be hurting over there.
That's the one position that I think I'm going to end up being a little weak at when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
But the position is so deep that as of right now, I'm okay with this start. Like I would be extremely happy if this is the start to my actual SFB.
So Jake, you ended up going Chris Carson. I thought that might be one of your picks here.
Yep.
And digging in on those running backs. You got 3 of them now. And Fantasy Champs takes James Conner. You guys leaving me high and dry on running back. I don't like any of the guys that are here, at least at the top of the ADP. However, there's some I think should be up here that aren't. And I just have to decide whether I want to reach on them or go with a quarterback, something like that. I already got the best quarterback, there is. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it. Jonathan Taylor.
It's definitely a high upside pick.
I feel like
Very low floor, but
I don't even know it's a low floor. I feel like this floor is a top 20 running back.
I feel like starting out it's going to be like RB3 if you're lucky, but maybe I just think max 2 involved at the start.
Well, that's the long play, just David Johnson gets me through the first, 5-6 games,
And then he gets hurt,
Taylor
right?
takes it.
Hey Josh, did you see what Neil from Clock Dodgers podcast said in the chat about your Jonathan Taylor pick?
He hit the bottle early tonight. Apparently. I don't even think Neil drinks.
Due to fantasy,
He doesn't. That's the funny thing. He does not drink at all.
That's
like
not,
I do.
sorry.
I just
Inside joke.
finished. I just finished a nice margarita. I might have to go get another one after.
After I took Taylor, Brian took Bell, who's the guy I don't know. It's both it's Gase. Let's just be honest. It's Gase. We don't like Gase. And he doesn't like Bell. So Allen Robinson to Byron, he's putting together a pretty nice team. Allen Robinson is a great consolation wide receiver 1 in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, going for Evan Ingram.
He's made of glass. I'll be holding my breath every week, but I like the upside.
I'll say the upside is definitely there.
Yeah.
Nobody gets Blake Jarwin.
Yeah.
I have hit my quota, gentlemen. I've hit my quota. I'm only allowed 3 per draft.
No CD Lamb in the 12th or something?
It's like the unwritten Cowboys rule: 3 per draft.
You're not gonna grab some Pollard late?
Might have to get a handcuff, but someone will snipe them on me. Can't hold my breath there either.
So after Ingram goes Ingram to Dirty Jobs, gets Mark Ingram in the 507. And Crocker takes Keenan Allen as he always does. Allen always falls to Crocker in the 5th and 6th round. You guys keep letting him have Keenan Allen.
Keenan was not getting past me. I needed a wide receiver, and he was at the top of my list.
At least he moved up slightly.
That was a good pick by Crocker. It was not coming back to him.
Didn't he fall like late 6th, the last one? That
Yeah.
Yes.
It was mid 6, wherever Josh. I think
Mid-6?
Josh was at the 4th or 5th last time, so it was like 6:09, 8, something like that. Yeah. Devin Singletary. I don't know. I that's his running back 1.
That feels ugly.
If you know Steve, that this is not a surprise for me at all. Like I know Steve.
Okay.
We do quite a few podcasts together. That pick for him taking Devil Singletary does not surprise me at all.
Ben takes Cooper Kupp. He's got a pretty balanced team. He's going to have to grab a good tight end sometime, but other than tight end, pretty solid. George is on the clock at the 5:11. Still less quarterbacks off the board than usual at this point, I think. We are so far have a quarterbackless 5th. No quarterbacks taken in the 5th. Can we keep that going, George?
Yeah. If you know me, you know I'm not looking at quarterback here. The last time we did this, I took Russell Wilson in the 2nd and ended the draft with no other quarterbacks on my team. So I'm probably not going quarterback here. I think my next 2 picks are going to be reaches. As long as Neil doesn't take one of them anyway. But it's 2 guys that I really do like. According to the ADP, there's quite a few guys ahead of them, but I do not feel like either one will make it back to me. So first one I'm going with will be Senor Chark.
Yep.
I can get behind that pick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the next one because Neil also has no wide receivers. So
Yeah, I just feel like there's a couple I would still take ahead of Chark, but
like I said, there's some that are rated ahead of him. I want him on my team.
Get your guys, right?
all
Yep.
right. Are you gonna reach for? I'll let Neil pick here before I say anything. Then. I'll be nice.
I'll tell you now, the next one's probably going to be reach based on ADP as well.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
We'll see if Neil is watching this or listening.
I mean, I will say that one thing that's nice with the Scott Fishbowl is that the ADP, you can sort of throw it out the window in that it's so new, it's so novel. Like, we all don't really know what we're doing. We're trying to figure it out, but.
I mean, George, even if your guy gets taken here, there are some amazing wide receivers still left to come to you.
Correct. Absolutely. So there's somebody I really do want. If he gets taken, it's kind of like Josh taking Lamar Jackson at 103. Like, it's a constellation prize as Lamar Jackson. Yeah. So yeah, I won't be too upset, but there is somebody I really do want, and so far I'm in the clear.
Adam Thielen goes 5:12. His first pick on the turn. He still has no quarterback. He's got Chubb, Henry, Waller, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and now Adam Thielen. So
he's not taking a quarterback here.
He's not doing it?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think he will.
So another wide receiver then, probably. Unless
he might go wide receiver.
Marlon Mack here, Neil?
I'm gonna tell him that. I'm gonna tell him that in the chat, matter of fact.
Yeah. $40 seconds. He's using up his whole clock, but that's all right. He's allowed. Might have to cut it down a little bit here.
He's making me sweat. Is what he's doing.
Making you sweat.
Yeah.
I don't think Neil has to make you sweat.
No, I'm fat. I do that naturally.
I mean, I just mean.
Whoa, running back again.
That's what I meant. I don't think you got to worry about it because I don't think he's taking your guy. He didn't take him.
That's who I thought your guy was.
He goes David Montgomery, and then George gets his AJ Brown.
Yeah, two young guys.
Would have been a reach.
According to ADP, it's a reach.
No. They don't.
I mean,
ADP
he was below. he was below Metcalf, below Woods, below Hilton, Ridley, Diggs, Sutton. I mean, in most drafts, I think those guys will go ahead of AJ Brown.
Kareem Hunt is the next pick. I really like that team Benjamin's putting together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. I mean, I was even debating Hunt all the way at my 503.
I feel like I'd rather have Montgomery by quite a large margin than Hunt, Singletary. I'd say even Bell just because of the workload.
I can understand Montgomery ahead of Singletary and Hunt, but I just mean Kareem Hunt has a lot of upside, safety in the passing game. If Chubb ever happens to go down, he's just going to explode. If he could get traded, there's a lot of ways that he could actually pay off well above what you're buying him at and what you're buying at. And even if nothing changes, he still could just put up a 200-point season in regular PPR. I'm not quite sure how that works out in SFBX, but
I'm really mad about that Woods pick.
Yeah, well, he wasn't going to get to you.
Is everyone just getting really comfortable and slipping back into our late round quarterback ways? Because we haven't had one since the 412, and it's now the 565.
Yeah, 16
There we
picks
go.
before we had a quarterback.
Everyone's just playing chicken again.
Crocker's going to try to start a run here.
There it goes. I figured he might. Derek Carr. Hey, I like it there.
I can see a
Cousins
couple of
and
receivers going off right now.
Yeah, there was a definite tier of wide receivers that was way better than all the other tiers at the other positions. So we're catching back up with the wide receivers now. Courtland Sutton going 6'6".
Keep it going there.
There's the other.
Keep
Yeah.
going, guys. Calvin Ridley 6'7". Keep going, guy. There's some more good wide receivers. Keep taking them. I don't even have one yet, in case anyone hasn't noticed.
That's probably why they're taking him now.
So I
That's
think
fine.
Juju in this
Still gonna
at
get
6'8"
one.
is crazy.
I didn't realize he was still there.
Yeah, that's insane. I probably would have took Juju over AJ Brown.
I was between
No,
Ridley
look
and
at that.
Juju, and I was thinking maybe Juju would slide. Not so lucky.
Yeah.
I feel like if he has a great season, that's like good for him, but I'm not going to take the risk. And the risk isn't just in him, it's in obviously Roethlisberger too. Waiting on Brian here. He's got a pretty balanced team. Barkley, Breeze, Hopkins, Brady, Bell. He likes those Bs. J.K. Dobbins goes right ahead of me, so there's no chance of me stacking up some really high upside running backs there because I think that was that was one of the last really high upside guys at the running back position. So I might have to take a wide receiver.
Don't sound too disappointed.
Just kidding. Jimmy G.
Yes.
Ooh, Cam Akers. See, I tried bluffing you guys saying that the last high upside running backs were gone, but I knew Cam Akers was still there.
I will gladly take Teddy Bridgewater at the 6'12". Gladly.
Yeah. I think he'll be good. I'm just not I don't know if the volume will be there, but we were just talking about how DJ Moore could get more volume, so I guess it's got to come from somewhere. So
Yeah, one thing that makes me happy about him is he was in point per game data like last year, QB 38 in standard and then QB 26 in just normal PPR.
mm-hmm.
So I found that enticing, and that also included some games he only played part games.
Has anyone seen any kind of analysis about I guess it would be hard to do because you don't know what the actual pass attempts are. just by looking at completion percentage. So, but I wonder like how much your points will go up just by getting up to 70, percent completion. Even if you have less volume, you could make up a lot of points just with each of those completions that you're getting more that aren't being, nullified by incompletions, to make up for lesser volume possibly.
I did look at Drew Brees, which I can talk about in just a sec once I finally decide
you
my
have 5
pick.
seconds. So you find that button yet? Should I pause something?
I did. I just was clicking between screens, stressing out.
See Tyler Lockett. I was hoping he might make it back to me, so I would at least have an option for a wide receiver. Him or Akers were kind of the ones I was hoping. You guys did not. You did not let that happen. So I guess good on you. So I guess I'll Dan, are you still here?
I am, man. I am.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys wide receiver 1.
That's where you're going with this, huh?
So Josh, just looking at your Jimmy Garoppolo pick, there were a lot of quarterbacks out there. Do you like Jimmy G way more than Teddy and Ryan? And
I figure I think when it comes to the efficiency, he's very similar to Bridgewater in that way. What we were just talking about, he's going to hit that higher percentage, and even though he has lesser volume, he's going to make up for a lot of points in that way. So I would put him and Bridgewater in a lot the same bucket. But I've seen Jimmy G do it, and so I just have more confidence in him doing it again. I don't have confidence in Ryan Tannehill doing it again.
So, Josh, I can talk about that little completion percentage idea. So, with Drew Brees, this is someone I can do quicker than looking at Teddy B or anything. He threw 378 attempts for 281 completions for a 74.3% completion rating or completion percentage. Sorry. And that gained him 4 points per game.
Okay. That's
Every
like an
week.
extra touchdown.
And that's for someone of Drew Brees, which I'd say that's actually pretty realistic for like a healthy Teddy Bridgewater, most QBs, to get around 400-ish attempts. That's actually probably on the lower end, wouldn't y'all say?
Yeah, I'd have to look up what Jimmy actually did for sure last year as far as the pass attempts. So after Gallup went, McLaurin went. I liked that. And then DK Metcalf. That's actually who I was debating between, Gallup or Metcalf. He goes back to Danny. He's going DeAndre Swift.
So I like what Brian did, but he's going to be hurting at running back.
Oh, sorry. Brian is right next to Byron. It confused me for a moment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brian.
Yeah, so Byron's going, he just says Sanders in the second, and that's it. So, yeah, interesting. Kelsey, Sanders, Murray, Wentz, Robinson, Juju, now Metcalf. Thank you, Mike, for taking Geis before we get to George.
He was going.
At the 7:07.
Does anybody know what Geis's ADP for Scott Fishbowl mocks are? I can pull that up real quick if no one has it.
It's in the seventh round for the most part.
Is it really? That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about where it's been in our mocks here.
Yeah. I just feel like I like Geis a lot this year as like an upside guy, but 1.01, you're sort of stuck. You can't reach on a guy like that.
It's a round earlier than I would like.
Yeah.
Personally. I'll say looking back, not so sure about that Ertz pick on my team, but we'll see how it goes. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I like the Swift pick by Dan. I think that was a excuse me, that was a solid high upside pick.
Wanted to keep some running back depth. I was able to go a few rounds without taking an RB. I think another drop off is coming.
I
Right.
don't like that Goddard pick
Yeah,
personally.
so after Geis went, Crocker
No.
took Debo Samuel, which is a classic pick for him. And yeah, Dallas Goddard goes next. And then TJ Hawkinson. So tight end, Ron. Hurry up, George. Get your tight end.
No, that's okay. I'm good. I feel okay at the position right now. It's not time to go trace tight ends.
You don't want to start
Everybody's
two
doing it.
flex?
I thought about it. If Ertz was there in the third, maybe I would pull that trigger, but he's not, and I don't have to worry about that.
You still just have Todd Gurley as your running back.
And I'm literally sitting here scrolling through the running backs as we speak.
I figured you might be.
So if I can't get my man crush, right? So if I can't get my main crush, I'm going to go with my side crush.
Ah, yes. I like it.
That pick stresses me out.
Damian Williams. Damian Williams. Yes, that.
I am a believer between him and Geis and Josh Gordon. Like, those are my three favorite players in the NFL, even though one of them's not really in the NFL right now. And I'll ride with them until I can't no more.
You've had a lot of heartbreak, haven't you?
Oh, you have, dude, you have no idea. Check this out right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Josh Gordon's autographed football. Absolutely.
Oh, sweet, man.
With the Browns. So I've got him. I've got a Gronk one up here.
Well.
No, it did not. I've got that one. I've got a Rob Gronkowski, and then I've got a football with Ricky Williams and Darrell Henderson signed.
That's a lot of heartbreak.
I'm a Dolphins fan. My whole life has been heartbreak.
So people wonder why I'm so high on Cam Akers this year. George, please tell them who you have a picture with.
Oh, in our chat? Darrell Henderson, man.
Yes.
So I went to SportsCon in Dallas last year, and I got to meet all types of players. And I showed one time a picture of me and Darrell Henderson, and Josh has never let it down. So I just changed my avatar to the photo of me and Darrell Henderson.
Love it.
So go buy Cam Akers, guys.
I was about to ask, who else do you have signatures with and this and that? Because I can maybe get rid of them on Dynasty or something.
Yeah, really. That's not a bad.
I've got an O.J. Simpson autograph. I met him in the Newark airport.
Wow.
When I was like 7 years old, my dad said he went to go punch me when I asked for the autograph, and then noticed nobody realized and signed it, threw it in my face, and walked away.
Oh.
Yep.
On the turn, Neil goes 2 quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Mayfield.
And I don't
going
like-
back to, you asked me about Jimmy G. Honestly, it was Jimmy G or Daniel Jones for me.
I would throw, well, does anybody need a quarterback coming up? I just don't want to be shouting out names and ruin anybody's hopes and dreams. There is one quarterback I would take above Daniel Jones and Baker.
There's one here that I'm honestly, George, if you, yeah.
I think
So
that's what he's with.
So I waited way too long to get my second quarterback in the last draft.
Yeah.
I am looking at quarterbacks right now. I am going to take a quarterback here. There's a couple of guys I like, but I think
just
one
do
has
it.
more. I think one has more upside than the rest. So I'm going to go with Cam Newton.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
That's not who I thought you were going to go with. I understand that he does have that upside. But
Yep.
there is one I did think you were going to go with instead of.
You thought I was going to stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't look for stacks. Like I think Cam has more upside than said quarterback.
So Benjamin, after you took Cam Newton, he's been doing his best since the 7th round to ruin the perfectly good team he was assembled. No, I'm sorry, Ben. He switched Hawkinson in the 7th, and now
We just lost Josh.
Frozen.
Well, I can talk about how I don't like Higbee.
Now, Tyler.
Oh.
Hey, yo.
There
So, yeah, we did say something about how he needs to get tight end, I guess. He took us a little literally. I don't know.
I'm not a fan of Higbee. I mean, if anybody wants to check out, I did a live stream where one of the questions was, will Tyler Higbee be a top 5 tight end? And my answer was, hell no, he's not going to be a top 5 tight end. Like, he's not even going to. I'm questioning if he'll be top 12, top 15.
He looked so good at the end of last season, but
yeah,
Everett's back.
I mean, yeah, I did some figures with my live chat and stuff, and I may make it into an article just to share it in a cohesive form. But Everett didn't get any snaps week 16, week 17. I just think once he comes back, he takes away a lot of upside.
Yeah, we keep talking about how they're going to run with 2 tight ends all the time. Now that they got rid of Cooks, and that's kind of what they were doing the second half of the season. But we keep forgetting that, well, the other one's going to be Everett, and Higbee did not look all that great when Everett was there too. And people want to bring up how Everett came back at the end of the season, but when you actually look at how much he was playing, it really actually wasn't much. There was their third tight end, who I don't even remember the name of, was playing more than Everett was. So you can hardly count those games against him.
Yeah, that is one thing I talked about. Everett had 4 snaps week 16 and 0 snaps week 17, while the other guy had 20 or 30 snaps both weeks, something like that.
Yeah. All right, well, enough about Tyler Higbee. He goes 8-3. T.Y. Hilton falls all the way to 8-4. Hunter Henry, 8-5. Rob Gronkowski, 8-6. We really do have tight ends going here. Ben Roethlisberger, 8-7. 8-8. Raheem Mostert. Is he going to hold out, guys? I just saw something in the news. He was asking for more money. He didn't say hold out. He just said he was requesting compensation more appropriate to his increased production or something like that.
Can never hurt to ask, right?
Right. So wait, are you saying it's time to get Tevin Coleman everywhere?
Maybe. All right, Boyd goes right ahead of me.
When I took Big Ben, I was 3 rounds later than I took Baker Mayfield in our last draft. So I came in here with the strategy to wait on that second quarterback a little bit, although I was hoping Bake might slide to me at 8-7. He didn't. I like the Cam Newton pick. I was hoping he'd slide. He didn't. Danny Dimes was even there. So I settled for Big Ben. Hopefully Pittsburgh's back to being Pittsburgh. And his arm doesn't fall off.
I hate this freaking draft.
I do too. Because there's like people falling and you're like, I don't like the player, but upside wise looks nice.
I don't like them, so I'm just gonna pass on the wide receivers. I'm sorry, I just don't like them. I don't like them. I don't really like the running backs. I could have waited on. I guess I could have waited on quarterback. There's some decent ones here, but I feel like the upside here is actually going to go Austin Hooper.
So I wonder if the guys who took quarterbacks super early, if you have 2 quarterbacks before round 4, or before round 5 rather, do you regret that decision now, or the way the draft is played out? Are you okay with that? Are you happy with it?
Well, that would be. I don't think we have any of those guys on the stream. Me and
No. I was just
took them early.
Yeah, no. I was just asking in general. No, I mean, I know the guys that took them aren't on the stream.
I would regret it.
Yeah,
Looking at the roster,
Breeze and Brady, and then Byron has Kyler and Wentz.
The Breeze Brady roster, at least I think, balanced out with Barkley and Nuke and Bell, Dobbins. But then The Watson Rogers roster, I wouldn't sleep too well at night. I think Devin Singletary was my number one. That's tough.
And your only running back
And
coming into the 9th round.
Scott Fishbowl running backs are important.
Ooh, Jonnu Smith, 8'11". I
That's
like
spicy.
Jonnu Smith. I don't know if I like him that much.
I wonder, like,
think
after
there's-
this. Sorry, we're on the same wave. Like, your turn, buddy.
I was going to say, there's one tight end I like a little bit more than Jonnu Smith right now.
I wonder
Same here.
after the season if I'll regret taking Ingram in the 5th and not waiting a few rounds and being happy with Jonnu, Hooper, Henry, Higbee, all the above.
There is an article by, I think his name's like The Real Adam something. He's with the Undroppables. He did an article over Ingram, and it concerns me with Ingram, just like the potential production drop he'll have. And I can tag you on it if you want me, Dan, just because it was an interesting read for sure.
I think it's the real Adam Kaplan.
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
right.
if you don't mind. Normally, I don't take him. I don't like those fragile type players. I think I did see some too, though. He was still like led the team in targets, or the games he played, he led the team in targets.
That may have been me, my propaganda.
Hey, there you go.
But no, I love Ingram as a player and potential like top tier tight end and stuff, but it's just rough. With my pick, I was just gonna say Jared Goff to me is in the same tier as Jimmy G, Teddy Bridgewater, and Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if y'all probably disagree because y'all didn't pick him, but
Same tier, yes, but I'd be worried about the Fishbowl scoring with his O-line. How many sacks does he take? But isn't it you're losing points for sacks? Is it a minus half or -1?
-1. He did receive a. Let me find it just so I don't speak without having anything. Okay, he received a slight drop, -3 rank drop. So he does get a hit.
That's where he does things go south with the Rams if the O-line doesn't rebound.
You guys
More
are
early.
determined to make sure that no good-looking wide receiver ever gets to me.
I couldn't pass up on Diggs in the 9th.
Yeah. Diggs and AJ Green go 9-1, 9-2. Here I am 9-3. My only wide receiver is Michael Gallup. That happened somehow.
That's gross.
You just wanted to razz me and say he was better than Cooper. Admit it.
I probably should have taken Metcalf instead, but I do think he has that upside, though. Oh my goodness. I'm kind of contrarian by nature, so I'm half tempted to just like dig in and be stubborn about it now. Just
You only
keep
have
fading-
one tight end. You can go
just
tight
keep
end.
fading him. I mean, we got a bunch of flexes I can still fill up, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's where we're gonna go. George, this kind of connects back to one of your picks, but I think Sony Michel, his biggest problem last year was yards per carry, and I don't know. Cam Newton might do wonders for how open the field is for him.
Just want to say, for the record, I meant to pick Hayden Hurst now that he went.
I see him going ahead of Austin Hooper, Jonnu Smith, even Gronkowski sometimes. So I don't know if that's who you were referring to, George, earlier.
No,
Or-
it was not actually.
Okay. I don't like him better, but I usually see him going.
I can see him going in front of Goddard and Hawkinson as well.
Yeah.
He's in that tier for sure.
Yeah, people are acting like he's going to be the tight end 6, 7, 8. Just because of vacated targets, I guess.
Don't do it to me, Dan. Don't do it to me.
Did I do it?
You did it, you son of a gun.
I thought
I
Josh was going to get him on me.
I debated
Actually,
taking him.
Parker was the last guy on my queue for wide receiver, but I did see Brown further down that list. Yeah.
I debated taking Brown where I took Cam Newton, and I was having flashbacks to our last draft. I'm like, no, there's still way too many picks. quarterbacks are eventually going to start going, and I didn't think Newton would get back, or at least a decent second-tier quarterback. And I looking at the way the draft has played out, I wish I would have went with Marquise Brown.
I have a question about strategy. Do y'all think there's any reason to go more than 3 QBs in Scott Fishbowl?
No.
I lean no. I feel like that's overkill. Okay.
No.
Unless you're worried about COVID.
Man, my thought with COVID, I've seen some people talk about get the handcuff, but you're literally the 2 running backs will be in the same room watching film. Like if one guy gets COVID, the other guy's gonna have to quarantine or he'll have COVID as well. Like if it's that rampant, they're not gonna have a season. Like,
but my point is like a quarterback. If you have 2 guys happen to get it, I know I get it, but I'm just saying that could be an argument for getting 4 potential quarterbacks.
Yeah, I see the QB argument more, but I just think if 1/16 of the starting quarterbacks are getting COVID, they're going to be like, ooh, maybe we should stop.
The different starting quarterbacks on different teams.
Right.
So
yes.
When you're talking about the running back, I said I had a tweet last week where I was railing about this because I had heard for like the 3rd time a podcast talking about how, well, maybe handcuffs are more important this year. I'm like, no, if anything, it's less important because they're on the same team. Their chances of getting are now going up. Diversify. You want everyone else's handcuffs because of this, not your own. Sorry. So
I'm glad I'm not the only crazy person thinking that because I've been seeing it said all over too, and I'm like, it doesn't that's not how diseases spread and work.
Completely backwards. Sam Darnold goes 9-7, Jarvis Landry 9-8, Gesicki 9-9, and now Ronald Jones 9-10. Wow, Benjamin, what? Oh, does he have a list or something of players I don't like? I liked this team. You're breaking my heart. I liked this team so much. I mean, I even like TJ Hawkinson, just not quite where you took him, but then now Higbee and Ronald Jones.
Yeah, Ronald Jones is one of those guys that I can see his potential of being the lead back by a slight percentage, but I just don't believe that it's going to be by enough that you'd want to take a chance.
George goes Jordan Howard. I would take Jordan Howard over Ronald Jones.
That's where I would have gone to.
Agreed.
I wanted to shore up that running back position. Damian Williams, as much as I love him, and I think he will start the season there, it's no sure thing that he stays the starter the whole season. And at least with Ronald Jones, Jordan Howard. I've been drinking tonight, gents. I've been drinking. Just want to throw that out. I wanted some security, and even though the name is gross, the production is definitely not that bad previous years. So I wanted to shore up that running back position. And starting with the 2 tight ends, the way this is played out, I actually like the way this team looks right now.
Your running backs are still pretty gross.
They are. I Grant, Todd Gurley, I need him to have that year to make this work. But if Damian Williams remains the starter in KC like I think he will, and Todd Gurley does what we anticipate he can do, it will all work out just fine.
Give him time, Josh. He still has Darrell Henderson on the board.
This is true.
And JJ
Sean Vaughn.
Are you going to take Josh Gordon with your 22nd pick?
I might, to be honest. I mean, what's the worst? I mean, at that point, I mean, why not?
I was going to ask also, do you have a favorite team you wanted to end up on?
No, I don't care what team you. I like the player. I like his story. I like the whole concept of a comeback, and I think that he would be the ultimate comeback story. So it's not necessarily the team, more so than the person that I root for.
Gotcha.
Neil finally takes Gardner Minshew on the turn here, 9-12. He's gone 3 quarterbacks the last
Ooh.
Correction.
Wow.
He's gone
What?
more
What is
quarterbacks with the
And that's
last
one
4
wide
picks.
receiver.
You
Daniel
can't trade him.
Jones,
Oh,
Field, Gardner Minshew, now Joe Burrow with the 10-01. Yeah, he's got Adam Thielen, but that's a pretty solid wide receiver 1.
that's gonna kill your team, though.
It's better than my wide receiver 1.
I mean, your team is also rough, but
Say it.
that's one thing that I try to remember because it's easy for me to go RB heavy, but you do have to start 3 wide receivers.
So I thought about taking a wide receiver here. I've only got 2. I've only got 2, but I'm not. I'm going to go with the running back position. I want to shore that position up. I feel like the way I started, only having 1 running back in the first 6 rounds, I need to shore the position up. So I'm going to go with Matt Breida and try to lock up that Miami backfield.
Okay. All right. A little more security in the running back room there until COVID comes.
That is one thought I've also had with like Scott Fishbowl, with it being a like luck based, but also you have to diversify yourself and figure out how you want to separate your roster. And like part of me wonders if going someone like a Marlon Mack or Phillip Lindsay just to get the second guy on a different team, and you just say I'm all in on Jordan Howard. If he busts, I'm going to lose. But I've never done Scott Fishbowl, so I don't know if y'all have any other insight.
I think Dan can speak more to this. He's probably the most experienced one here. I know, listen to him on the last show we did. He nailed a lot of late picks. And I think in order to do good, like these later round picks are the ones you absolutely must nail.
Some of these running backs are going to become starters. Something's going to happen, and you're going to have gold here later in your draft. But it's tough. We're still filling our starting lineup at this point, too. So it's double-edged sword.
After George took Burrito, we had Alexander Madison 10-3, Drew Lock 10-4, and now Marlon Mack goes 10-5. That must have hurt Crocker to take, but I can't really hate it in the 10th round.
I really like that Drew Lock pick.
Brandon Cooks, man, you guys are determined to take all these good wide receivers. Like I'm just at the very end of each tier. I'm starting to think the 3 spot is not actually very good. I should have been at the 10.
Ooh,
Julian Edelman.
I got a question for y'all. If y'all are wanting a non-Scott Fishbowl related question,
Let's hear it.
would y'all want in Dynasty Julian Edelman or Devin Duvernay?
I don't know if I believe it. I want to win now, so I think I want Edelman.
That's what I thought was.
I could find a way to get Duvernay, I think.
I was going to say I would go with
Sean Vaughn.
just Josh. Every time you say something, you're just getting more depressed and depressed and depressed. Dude, do you need a hug? You want me to come up there and give you a big hug? I will.
I need to not take quarterback early. That's what I need to do.
You need to listen to my quarterback strategy, Josh. That's what it is.
Look, you mean my quarterback? I told you I'm trying something different tonight, and now I know it doesn't work.
You're trying something different. You've been on tilt since the pick 1-3.
I've been on tilt since pick 2-2. I took my Mark Andrews. And Will Fuller. Okay, guys. Am I sharing the wrong screen? Do you guys see my queue? What's going on here? Oh my goodness. All right. So
You could get the actual Cowboys wide receiver too.
oh, funny.
Agreed.
I already have 2 tight ends.
But it's a premium.
I'm joking.
I'm talking about CD Lamb. I'm not talking about Jarwin.
No, I was talking about We're gonna just go. See, I keep having to resist. I really want to just dig in and just say, screw you, wide receivers.
Hey, Josh, I just want to point out you have one less wide receiver than Neil.
But I really like this guy. I've liked him for years, and I know he's just the wide receiver 2 on his team, but that's okay. Christian Kirk.
I think that's a good pick.
Dang it. That's a good pick, too. I swear
That is a
my
good pick.
Q is...
Going back to that Duvernay versus Edelman, I agree with you, Dan. My thought is Edelman's the win now guy. He's the guy that he could be a top 20 wide receiver again, while Duvernay's a 3rd round rookie pick who they only hit like 9% of the time. Like, you have to take that into account.
COVID environment too. Yeah, I think Hollywood and Andrews just eat up all the receptions in that offense.
Yeah, and I don't think Boykin will just sit on the bench either.
Year under his belt, he's healthy. He won't make it easy for Duvernay to get on the field.
No. Well, I'm glad to see I'm not crazy because I got in a big old Twitter argument about it. Those are always fun.
Gotta avoid those.
I would say, can I give you some advice? Stay out of the Twitter arguments. And coming from me, that is sage advice.
All right, I need to work on that because I get all fired up and I'm just like, all right, let's go to town and I'm gonna beat you down and win and yeah.
When did I lose you? Welcome back.
My internet. I'm outside.
I'm in a real tough spot right now.
Yeah, so you know,
Just
took
look
my
at
Marvin
Josh.
Jones. He was next on my list after Kirk. That hurt.
I was about to say, just look at Josh's queue and just go from there.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a receiver. Now I'm gonna.
Exactly.
I don't. Okay, we're gonna go with some. Okay. Ugh.
Okay.
Rivers pick. I like it.
So I feel like there's one decent running back I could take, and then yeah, not
I think
really
there's an
anything else. I'm gonna
opportunity.
start having it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start taking some just high upside rolls here on wide receiver, which is kind of, I mean, that's what I plan to do at the end. So this was all, you know, what I planned. So, I mean, Adam Thielen is pretty solid, but I mean, he didn't just miss half a season, right? So I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson high upside here.
I would say he has probably the most upside for 2020 out of any of the rookies.
I agree, but I keep seeing him going behind some of the others. But
It's dynasty hype.
It
I
is.
think I even picked CD Lamb over him. I may have not, but
yeah, Jefferson was like the 5th rookie wide receiver taken the other night, and I did not understand what was going on.
yeah.
He's all along coming in and as the rookie. I just felt like he was the safest. He had the highest floor, and then he went to a team with some of the best opportunity. It just I had him as my wide receiver 3 in rookie ranks, just because. I mean, I have him ahead of Judy just because I felt so much safer, but he still had upside.
Mm-hmm.
James White, 11-4 goes here. Just to recap, yeah, so I took Christian Kirk. Mervyn Jones went right after, darn you. Jared Cook on the turn. Philip Lindsay. Philip Rivers, back-to-back Phillips going here. One with 2 L's, one with 1. I took Justin Jefferson. James White. Now Noah Fant. Noah Fant.
It's great value there.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people who like him ahead of TJ Hawkinson, and he went about 9 tight ends ago. Do people not like him for redraft? Is that just in Dynasty? I'm seeing him up there that high.
I think it's just the too many mouths to feed fallacy. I mean, good players get the ball, but I did just pick Jared Cook in front of him, so I can't really talk that much.
I mean, Jared Cook gets the ball. I'm not sure. I'm not high on Fant. I do like Hawkinson ahead of him as far as just those two. We kind of tie them together because they were both rookies, same class, first early picks. So, but I don't really. Yeah, I thought that a lot of what Fant got was just kind of inflated because of the situation. I felt like he could have done a lot more with what the opportunity he had.
Yeah, I think a lot of his value depends on Drew Lock, which you could say the same thing for anybody on that team.
And that is why I also fade him a little more than Hawkinson.
Damn, sniped and Pollard.
After Fant goes Hardman, then Eric Ebron, Tariq Cohen, and now Tony Pollard going in the 11th. Benjamin.
What's your thoughts on those handcuffs? Like, obviously, there's value here in a Pollard or Madison the round before. You're not going to lose your fab and fishbowl if Cook or Zeke went down or something. But we're still drafting our start. We're getting our last flex spot right here. So it's a starter that you're going to have for, hopefully 16 weeks, or that handcuff that could win you the league if a guy got hurt. But it's always a tough decision for me at this point.
I lean those high upside receiving backs. Philip Lindsay doesn't really. Sorry, my phone just went off. Sorry, everybody. Philip Lindsay doesn't quite fit that role. Like a James White or Tariq Cohen fit it more for me. I'd rather have those guys, even like a Keyshawn Vaughn, over someone like a Madison or a Pollard. Madison has some value right now, though, with the holdout. But
like if you had Zeke or Dalvin Cook, do you pounce on him before filling your starting lineup?
I diversify. That's how I'm going into this. Is just diversify, and if I get an injury, I'm dead in the water anyways. That's how I think. You may have a different thought though, Dan.
I think it depends on the back too. Like I agree, certain you lose certain running backs, that backup's not going to win you the league. But I think when you have the offensive line or the offense of Dallas or Minnesota, those guys could still put up some nice points.
George taking it to the wire here.
I am. I don't know what I want to do. I was going back and forth between two different players, and I went with Latavius.
I think Latavius Murray is more of those, like, it goes to what I'm speaking on, of more of like he is a handcuff, but sort of like what you're saying as well, Dan, is he has that immense upside in the offense.
He was awesome last year when Kamara was out. And to your point, Josh, he does even score, even with Kamara there.
And that's why I don't mind the Pollard pick that much either, because I think he could actually have some independent value this year as well, especially if CeeDee Lamb doesn't pick up right away and Blake Jarwin isn't what everyone wants him to be. I think Pollard could take a lot of that kind of work that Cobb had. Am I wrong? It's your team. You know better than me, but
I think Lamb's going to fill right in there. I think Jarwin's going to get more. I mean, there'll be a little more for Pollard. I mean, anytime you go year two, you should take a next step.
So, at the turn, Neil went Slayton and Deontay Johnson. Now back to George. You can't decide again.
Yeah, I've got two guys queued. I don't know which one I want. They're both wide receivers. One, I believe, will end up being the wide receiver one on his team. And the other one, I feel he is the wide receiver one on his team. Even though one plays the slot and the other one is outside. I'm going to take the slot wide receiver. They paid him a lot of money. They want him to replace OBJ. So I'm going to roll with Golden Tate.
All right. Golden Tate. Then Dwayne Haskins goes. Antonio Gibson and 12-4.
The Redskins run.
Yeah.
He
George,
kind of handcuff that not really one as well. Gibson kind of fits that same same idea. What were you saying?
I was just going to ask George with his idea of doing one quarterback, and then just sort of coasting if the value doesn't show up. Like, what do you think about that Tyrod Haskins back-to-back versus getting someone like a Latavius Murray and Sterling Shepard? Because I feel like I'd rather have the position players right now.
So if Benjamin is only planning on starting Russell Wilson, I don't think Tyrod Taylor is going to make it the whole season as a starter. Are we sure Dwayne Haskins is the starter in Washington? Is it Kyle Allen? We don't know. I think they're going to let Dwayne get the start and see where it goes. But if they pull him for Kyle Allen, I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's, and I'm looking at the quarterback positions now. Like, I think I probably would have gone with Nick Foles. I feel like of the quarterbacks that are available, he's probably the safest to start the whole year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Playing DFS, I can't watch one more Nick Foles or Kyle Allen snap ever again. They were bad last year. Oh.
They absolutely were. They absolutely were. I like that Tua pick there, Dan.
Yeah, we went Gibson, then Rashad Penny, Sterling Shepard. Dan took Tua. Byron took John Brown now. Reading my queue again.
Sliding on a third quarterback in this draft. I was, hoping Locke going to settle on Burrow or Haskins. Never happened, so I landed Tua.
So I have a feeling Miami's not going to start Tua till week 12. If that's the case, would you feel comfortable taking Tua this early?
I mean, I'm hoping for a bye week flex out of him, or God forbid one of the quarterbacks get injured. I predict he starts sooner than that. But
just looking
very good point.
Looking at Miami's schedule, the first 10 games is murderous. It's gross. It's a lot of hard teams, and then after the bye week, so they play the Jets week 10. Then they go on a bye, and then they get the Jets week 11, and then from there, it's a nice schedule for the Dolphins. I think they only play one or two tough games the rest of the year, and I don't see, knowing his injury history, I'm just not sure Miami's gonna just hand the reins over to him. I think they're gonna let him sit till at least the bye week, and let Fitzpatrick take that beating. There's no reason to rush Tua. It's not like Miami's playing for the playoffs or Super Bowl or anything like that in 2020. They're absolutely not.
Love the points. It's probably why I waited on quarterback. Maybe, I did better than last draft. I didn't lose value taking him too early, but I like the stability more. I do believe Haskins has that job locked down. I would have liked to have him or Locke or even Man Rivers, just for the stability of a third quarterback.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely agree.
So I guess I'm relying on it for this draft. It's magic to run out of magic. Or I can still draft him.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you think about – well, we can talk about this after your pick comes up. Oh, come on.
Well, I got John Brown and Tevin Coleman right in front of me. We're both up at the top of my queue. Tevin Coleman was at the top, right in front of me. That's a great pick there in 12th by Brian. Tevin Coleman, he should have gone. I felt like anytime these past 2 rounds, I would have taken ahead of any of these.
Would you take him ahead of Phillip Lindsay?
Yes, because I believe in Melvin Gordon, though.
Gotcha. Yeah, it does get to that interesting point because, you have Tevin Coleman, Latavius Murray, they have more of a handcuff with potential to explode role versus, I think, sort of like what you said with Melvin Gordon. Phillip Lindsay's more of like that boring guy. He'll get you running back 3 numbers probably, and then I guess you're praying for injury, which, I don't like to do that.
But Tevin was the starter. I'm not.
I'm definitely high. Like, I would take Tevin Coleman as ADP versus Mostert all day.
So I took Mike Williams then instead. I just feel like he is definitely wide receiver 2 there. He stepped up, in volume last year. Of course, he had the touchdowns. I haven't been a big fan of him for the last, 2-3 years. But I I need a better name, but I call them boomerang players, where like I'm down on them for years at a time, and then things change, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to embrace them now. And so, I mean, players like Tyler Lockett was one famously. I love Tyler Lockett now, but for years I was down on him. But I feel like Mike Williams could be one of those guys, and really start establishing himself here. I just hate taking him because it feels like I'm disrespecting Keenan Allen, but
I think of the 12th round, that's a steal. Like, I agree. I think Mike Williams could have a bounce back year. Because like the only thing that changed from the 2 years was like his touchdown percentage, if I remember correctly, went from like 10% to 2%.
yeah, he got more volume, I believe, last year. So
Yeah.
he increased in target share. That's what I care about more.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Brandon
Mike
Ayuk goes
Williams-
12-11. Irv Smith 12-12. Jake's still picking that second one. What was that, George?
I was saying Mike Williams did actually lead the NFL in yards per catch last year. He averaged 20.4 yards per catch, but he only scored 2 touchdowns. So if he gets an increase with touchdowns, I'm not saying he's going to go out and average 20.4 yards a catch with Tyrod and Herbert back there. But if he goes out and gets you still, over 1,000 yards and increases the touchdowns to, even 6, like I think getting him in the 12th round is great value.
If he still had Rivers, there's no way he would have been here anymore. It's because
Correct.
of the quarterback uncertainty, for sure.
Yep.
Carry on. Jake takes carry on 1301, and Fantasy Champ takes Ian Thomas, and I'm back on the clock. This is the last round. I'm on the search for a wide receiver. Maybe. I have 3. You only have to start 3, right? I have 4. That's more than enough. Yeah. After that Tevin Coleman, it gets pretty ugly at running back. I'd have to resort to some kind of handcuff. I kind of do wish I had taken Metcalf instead of Gallup, Dan, because then I could actually I could feel good about grabbing CD right here.
If you just asked me, I would have told you to take Metcalf over Gallup. But
Right?
Well, we'll see.
you can message me during the fishbowl. I'll give you that advice then.
Oh, I'll definitely be messaging in that chat we got going.
Oh, I love that idea.
It'd be nice when we have 4 hours to pick, right?
4
Yeah.
hours, please don't.
We'll be
Well, no,
dangerous then.
Isn't it 8 hours?
Oh,
Or is
sorry, I
it
think
like
it's 8 hours.
Did they keep
But,
the
like-
8? I remember they were supposed to give us the option, and I didn't know if they changed it.
So, like, I know Scott's being real strict about the first round. Like, if you go on for longer than 4 hours, he's going to boot you. I was like, dang.
Yes.
I like it, though. Like, it helps that I'm the 1.01 and pick on the turns.
Yeah, I like being in the back of the draft. I'm the 11, and I just want to get my 2 picks done and over with, and know that I don't have to sit there and watch it. Just let me know when it gets close to my turn again.
It was long last year. We had a few guys in our division that were just long drafters. One guy timed out more than once. It was painful.
That sucks. Dude, I'm in a mock right now that it was the 5th mock John Hogue made, and we've been going on for like a month and a half.
Wow.
Ow!
It's not right. It defeats the purpose.
I know. The ADP has switched so much already. It's bonkers.
So I went Denzel Mims 13-3. Yeah, I don't know. Volume upside. Whatever. Moving on. CeeDee Lamb went 13-4. Nick Foles 13-5. Jace Sternberger 13-6. Zach Moss. I was almost considering Zach Moss, even though, I mean, I don't actually like him, but I don't particularly like Singletary either. So
Yeah, they're a wash for me as well.
Is anybody in the Scott Fishbowl? Does anybody have Chris Towers from CBS in their division?
pretty sure no.
Be happy you
CBS
don't.
guy, not him though.
Last year, I believe he took over 7 hours on every single pick.
God dang. That's oh. Like, I'm just going to keep the tab open and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I wasn't in last year, but in Scott Fishbowl 8, we had the guy, I think it was the 8 or the 9 pit slot timeout, and we all had a Twitter group chat, and we're joking about how he'd better be in the hospital or whatever. And of course it turns out his name was Gabe, and he really was in the hospital. He's the guy who had his surgery that morning, and it was scheduled, and he had thought he had the pre-draft and everything set up, but it didn't work right. And so it turns out he actually was in the hospital. So once we got that sorted out, it was pretty clear from there, but we all felt a little bad.
So Dan, I have a question. Why Sternberger over Fitz? Is it just sort of running with your bets if Tua gets it sooner than I think, or?
I think come the real draft, there's just no way I want to draft Fitzpatrick. I hope to have the third quarterback a little more stable. I have made a glass Evan Ingram, so I knew I had to get another tight end, and Irv Smith went, Ian Thomas went, so I only had a couple more guys I liked at tight end, so I didn't want to lose that.
You didn't want to go for the quad and get some Blake Jarwin?
Tells you hit my quota. Although CeeDee Lamb, I was eyeing him up, though. I was starting to get the itch again.
Well, I like that Preston Williams pick here to close out. And then Jamison Crowder, who I was debating between him or Mims. I kind of just went the upside guy for fun of it. But that's it. That's 13 rounds. Just to back up quickly on what you guys were saying, I'm more of the opinion that Ryan Fitzpatrick has a decent chance to start the entire season. Do we disagree? I guess we must.
I lean that way. I lean that way more than Tua playing more than 8 games. But again, we can't predict what an NFL coach is going to do with a fan base yelling at him to put a quarterback in, especially if they start losing.
Games played over, or just who has more games played, Tyrod Taylor or Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, same Fitz.
So I was talking about the Dolphins schedule earlier. They get the Jets week 10, week 11, they're on the bye. They get the Jets week 11. Then they get the Bengals, the Chiefs, which will be a tough game, the Patriots, that's a division game. Then they get the Raiders and the Bills. So I'm predicting that is the schedule where we will see Tua. Jets, Bengals, Chiefs, Patriots, Raiders, Bills. Nothing that really scares you too much as far as running the rookie out there. Give them that week to prep.
Once they know they're out of contention,
yep,
eventually they'll pass the torch.
I wouldn't want to run a rookie quarterback out there against the Patriots.
Mm-mm.
Listen, for all we know, by week 11, the Patriots could be running out of not really a rookie quarterback, but a second-year quarterback. We don't know.
Yeah.
That's not their defense, though.
Listen, I mean, I think Miami's got a very comparable defense to New England.
They're still not on the field at the same time.
I know that.
I'm not talking about the outcome of the game. I'm just talking about the effect on Tua.
I mean, listen, he's going to have to learn to play against that defense. He's going to see it twice a year. So why not throw him out there? And I think that game is in Miami. I'll check it, but actually it is because we opened the season. Yeah, we opened the season in New England. So
because we never ever make the Dolphins play in cold weather ever. Why would we ever want to do that?
We're going down.
Play in New England at the end of the season. Oh no!
Can I reference 2019 when Miami went to New England and beat them and cost them home field advantage throughout the playoffs, where they had to go on the road? Can I reference let's go back just to 2019.
And what was the time before that?
Sir, you said never. I just want to go back 1 year.
Obviously, I was being facetious, but
I have a question for y'all. What do y'all think about that carry-on pick? I feel like it's good value, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, injury prone or a running back that gets injured a lot. It's just,
He's still super young. I think it's hard to write him off completely. I think I took Swift, so I was looking at some point there to potentially wrap up that Detroit backfield, and I just didn't do it. Where did he go carry on again?
13th.
Yeah, 13-1.
That was nice and late. That's a golden time to get him. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at him in the 12th for sure. So I wanted to shore up my wide receivers, but I think carry-on does offer upside. Like, we all assume Swift is going to start, but they could legitimately share that backfield for a little bit. And in a format like this, if Swift goes out and gets hurt, then, carry-on, we've seen him be decent before. It's just a matter of his health.
Yeah.
we got John Byrne in the chat here. He's, I think, Byron here. They were talking about their team. I'll give a little love to the chat here, guys talking. I think he mostly pulled this off with Kelsey at 5. 5th pick.
That was the pick of the draft. That just tilted everything.
It was all downhill from there.
I would hate those running backs though. Like, whenever I did my draft and I had Raheem Mostert as my RB3, I just felt icky. And like we've said, like, Tevin Coleman's going to play. And so and also with Keyshawn Vaughn, like, I bet he'll be the 1B or the 2 to Ronald Jones for most of the year, if not the whole year. And then it changes in 2021.
If he switched DK and DeAndre Swift, I feel a lot better about his team.
That's a good point.
Yeah, even if he took Leonard Fournette instead of, it's tough to pass up Kyler Murray, but then you go and take Wentz the round after. I think that's that point where you lose value taking too many quarterbacks early.
Mm-hmm.
I like Vaughn, obviously, because I don't like Ronald Jones. So, and we were just talking, Tevin Coleman or Raheem Mostert. Mostert still is good, so it's not like he might not be a running back 2 after all. It's not pretty, but
yeah, if I had that team, I definitely would be hunting on the waiver wire. Like, that'd be my thing.
There's more rounds to go.
Yeah, there's 22 total rounds, so he can hit those gems late. But
who do y'all have some names of those later gems that's like 15 and on? I guess Duke Johnson. That's someone I forgot about that no one picked.
We had because I think, and I wonder how much this happens because this is a shortened, we're only going 13 rounds. So you start thinking about who you want to fill out end with, right? Whereas in a normal draft, maybe, I don't know if A.J. Dillon and Damian Harris go in the 13th at all. Maybe people are too focused on trying to fill up their starters and so on. But those are the kind of guys I could see going in later rounds. I think could be real gems.
I think like a Chase Edmonds can return some value. A Boston Scott.
Oh, that's a good one.
Boston Scott, like it.
There's Carlos Hyde. In Seattle, that we really don't know what's going on with that backfield. Is Penny actually going to be healthy? If not, you got Hyde. James Conner is not a poster child for health. Benny Snell is who I believe will replace him if he does get hurt. So there's still guys out there.
There's both of both of the other Charger running backs were not taken. Both goodness. Kelly and Jackson. I had Eckler, so I wasn't gonna go there, but I was kind of wondering if they were gonna go.
I feel like running backs really fell this draft. Like with Phillip Lindsay in the 11th, carry on in the 13th. Even like James White, Tariq Cohen in the 11th, just seems like they fell about maybe a round further than I thought. Did y'all feel that way? it just seemed like they weren't the sexy picks. So you wanted to get those shiny receivers or tight ends, and I felt the same way. Like I felt icky getting Lindsey and Carryon.
I think there was some tight ends that went before they should have. Just looking briefly, like I don't think Goddard should have went at 7-9. Ebron probably could have gone a little later. Noah Fant, I don't even think we should be drafting Jay Sternberger and the first 13. No offense, Dan. I just
some of you catch the ball
it's
than
those
Devontae Adams, George.
it's that Green Bay tight end. You know, Rodgers never had one like this. You know, I'm sorry. No, just no.
Well, that reminds me, Dan. Why didn't you take Blake Jarwin there?
I just 3 Cowboys. I'd have to, if I had 4 in a starting lineup and they have a bad game, that's just a really bad week. Be another guy to have to replace potentially week 10.
Somehow Blake Jarwin was not picked on this board.
Chris Herndon's another guy that wasn't picked that maybe I could have taken over Jace as well. I just wanted to end the draft in a tight end. I do like Jace though. Might be more of a dynasty thing though.
Jarwin, you don't even have to like him, and he's gonna get like an easy 40 for 400 or something.
I do love Jarwin. I don't want to be too much.
I also,
you're making me feel guilty, Josh.
I mean,
No,
you
I'm
have
just surprised. Yeah, others went ahead of him. That's all.
Yeah, and Dan, you won't get Zeke and Dak in a. There's no way. I don't see that happening.
I've
So
seen
then
too many bucks.
Yeah, so you can get that third one in Jarwin in your 13th round.
With as many leagues as we have this year in the Scott Fish Bowl, I guarantee you there's going to be a league where somebody is drafting at the 6th spot, and they'll get Zeke, and Dak will go 6 or later in the second round. It's got to happen. The odds say that it will.
I mean, I got to 1-6 and Zeke did slide, I don't know. There's that little part of me. You know, he had the Rona. He hasn't been working out. I don't know if you saw that latest video there. He was smoking on the live stream, and I'm just hoping he's in shape for the season. I'm starting to get a little leery. I could be overthinking it too.
The good thing about him already having the Rona is you don't have to worry about him getting it during season.
At least that's the hope.
I don't know. There's a little bit of a myth there, man. I was on campus today. I work at Lackawanna College, and we had a medical professional come over, and he's looking at our quarantine space that we're preparing. We're getting ready for our football team to come in, hopefully the end of July. And he says a little bit of a myth to that there of not getting it again. There has been some cases out there, but so who knows?
Yeah.
I thought that too, though, George. I was like, all right, he's out of it. He needs to go to Cabo and just train. I'd feel a lot better.
All right, guys. Just quick, I guess we'll go through here and just wrap up who your favorite pick. Actually, no, we're gonna mix this up. Which is your worst pick on your team that you most regret? George.
I knew you were going to go to me. Hold on, I got to pull it back up on my phone.
All right, I'll go Jake.
Thank you. I knew you were going to go to me, and I closed it down. I was. So the person I regret taking the most. Yeah, go to somebody else. I got to pull up the right draft. I pulled up number 2.
All right, Jake, who you got?
I actually really liked my draft. It felt like I wanted to. The receiver, or not the receivers, the quarterbacks just seemed to fall to me with Matthew Stafford, Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff. Let me try to look around it. I guess the one pick that made me the most nervous and I think was the most risky was Chris Carson. Just with he did have an injury. I need to look into him as a player coming back and just talk to the injury docs on Twitter and just see what they have to say. And that one makes me the most nervous. Honestly, I wish I would have picked Allen Robinson over Matthew Stafford because of how the quarterbacks fell. Quarterbacks just fell so much.
I loved your 1, 2, 3 there. Just, I don't know, McCaffrey. I'm still an Aaron Jones believer. Julio at 3.1, so nice. That's a lot of points you could add.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, who you got?
When I took Ridley, I was between him and Juju. I go back. Ridley has a bye week 10 along with all my Cowboys, so I might have taken Juju. Evan Ingram, I still feel a little dirty about. I just feel like he's gonna get hurt, and there's so many tight ends out there. And Big Ben's a little not the most exciting number 2. Although overall, I was happy though. I like the balance of the team. I think I got a lot of potentially explosive players. A lot of talent to flex. DeAndre Swift would need to come through for this roster. That'd be a big piece for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at who you could have taken instead of Ingram, either receiver or running back. I mean, even the Hunter Montgomery.
There was that big running back run there, Josh, where it was like
right
Clyde,
before you.
Allaire, and then Carson, then Connor, then Taylor, then Bell. I mean, I think that, that's where Allen Robinson went before me, and he definitely needed a running back. So I wonder if he was banking on one of those guys. And then I was going to take one of them just to have the extra running back depth at that point, and was hoping to have like Zeke, Fournette, and either a Carson, Connor, or Bell. I would have been really happy with that, and it just didn't happen.
Okay. George, you ready yet?
Yep. I got the right draft up this time. I'm looking at my team, and I don't know if I would have done anything different. Like, there's a couple guys I wish would have fallen, obviously, but like, I really do like the way my team came together. I feel I got pretty decent value with almost every pick. When it came to my first 2 wide receivers, I admitted I was reaching, but I don't think either one of them was coming back to me. If I would have done anything different, I forgot about Juju. Maybe take Juju over AJ Brown, but even still, like, I'm happy with AJ Brown.
How do you feel about the double stack of the tight ends? That, like, would you rather have Mark Andrews looking at it versus like a Sanders, Mixon, a Jacobs?
So, if I didn't get Todd Gurley in the 3rd round, I think Todd Gurley saved my draft. If he does what we think he's going to do, like, I'm perfectly content with starting Andrews and Kittle and having Todd Gurley as my RB1. Like, I'm perfectly content with that. Absolutely fine. You guys were super generous with the quarterbacks. They weren't really flying off the board like the last draft. So that enabled me to get Matt Ryan, which I am extremely comfortable with as my QB1. And then from that point on, I just went with upside guys. Chark, AJ Brown. A lot of people don't like Damian Williams, but I think there's a lot of upside there. Newton. And then I wanted something steady with Howard and Burita. At least I got that backfield. So I liked the draft, starting those 2 tight ends. But I think the only reason I like it is because the Gurley was there. If Neil would have took Gurley, or if you guys would have took Gurley before he got to me, and I was looking at like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire or a Melvin Gordon or somebody like that, like, there's a huge drop, in my opinion, after Gurley as far as value. So getting Gurley made the draft for me. So I'm completely content with those 2 tight ends and getting Gurley as my RB1. If I didn't get Gurley, I would not have liked it at all.
I was pleasantly surprised how that turned out for you, George. I was nervous, like, all right, what's this going to look like after those first 2 tight ends? And the way the guys landed, and that Atlanta stack with Ryan and Gurley, and explosive receivers with upside and Chark and Brown.
Yeah, it played out very nice. I'd be happy to go with that to the Scott Fish Bowl. Absolutely would be no problem.
Hopefully you get the stability from Howard and Williams. That's just enough, and then catch a break here or there. That's a cool roster.
Even if Clyde Edwards starts, I still think Williams is going to have a role. So I'm not writing him off. I think he's going to get 60-40 to at least start the first few games. And I think the only way Edwards-Helaire gets the starting role is if Williams gets hurt, which that could very well happen. It's Damian Williams.
Yeah, I loved getting Williams even in dynasty startups lately. I was getting like 11th or 13th round or something like that.
Yep.
Josh,
So
take
my
us home,
team.
man.
Do I have to pick just one?
Josh, look to the team to the left of you, look to the team to the right of you, and tell us which was your favorite pick they made.
Pretty much whichever one either was made before or after me. No, this is why I usually like to go running back, because I mean, all right, so all these people are telling me add up the points from Lamar Jackson or Mahomes, and the projected points for them and the running backs you can get in the second. Eckler, Sanders, Drake, usually one of those kind of guys, right? And all these people are talking about it, and they're comparing with just what that number, adding up the projected points from a quarterback or a running back versus going running back, quarterback. That's what they kept. A bunch of people were talking about, and I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, but you can't just look at the first and second round in that exercise. You have to look on how it impacts your decisions and who you can take and who you're going to reach for in the next 2, 3, even 4 rounds, all the way down into the 5th. And I felt that because I was definitely struggling I was looking at the board. I'm looking at these running backs are going to disappear. These startable running backs are going to disappear after the 5th. And so as much as I like David Johnson and Jonathan Taylor, they're kind of reaches. I mean, if I was redoing this whole draft and most everyone else stayed mostly the same, right? If I go Barkley instead of Jackson, then when it gets back to me, even if Breeze gets sniped in front of me, that's fine. I'll go Barkley Eckler, because Eckler is still can be a running back 1, but on my team, he's my running back 2. And then it gets into the 3rd, and now I can go Ertz again, or I can take any wide receiver, or I could even go Kyler Murray if I wanted to. I probably wouldn't at that point. Like I've talked about in the past, after Breeze goes, there's kind of that drop. So I probably would have not taken a quarterback again, but I could have gone anything there. And it frees you up. It frees you up to make better decisions. So that I'm not sure that 3rd would have actually changed that much. But then when it gets to the 4th and 5th, now I could take Matthew Stafford before it gets to Jake. Now I can take an Allen Robinson instead of Jonathan Taylor. Now my team is Barkley, Eckler, Ertz, Stafford, and Allen Robinson, and that sounds so much better than what I have after 5 rounds. And so I wonder if, I think a lot of teams are good in the first 3 rounds here, or even 4 and 5, are going to be going after these, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and I really wonder how it's going to affect their first 5 picks. And I wonder if it's really a net negative. And you can't just look at, like I said, the first 2 rounds. You have to look at how it affects more than that.
Yeah, not a fan of it, Josh, but there is like a scenario where, if the stars are all aligned and Lamar and Eckler go ham and Ertz has another 100-catch season and David Johnson's reborn and Jonathan Taylor becomes the man, you might just look like a genius at the end of this.
I was going to say that just by switching Barkley and Lamar and then David Johnson and Matthew Stafford, I think just completely switches the whole draft.
Yeah, it does.
And that's another reason I like CMC at 1.01 as well, is I think he's the most talented running, or I guess I can't say most talented. He is in the best situation for a running back, and he provides you just so much more what's the word I'm looking for? Flexibility. He lets you decide what you want to do. You aren't forced to choose. Like you can do whatever you want.
His stability allows you to be more flexible everywhere else.
Yeah. Like I would be content with going CMC, Aaron Jones, and Drake if like Julio or Hill or one of them went earlier, like getting those 3 running backs just back to back to back.
Hey Josh,
so how touch running back again until like 10th round.
Seriously. Josh, how do you feel about the guy that took Patrick Mahomes in the first and his team compared to yours? because the way the draft worked out for him, going Mahomes and then having Drake as his RB1, with then Hill and Evans and then Connor and Akers, like I think I'm okay with it with having Mahomes and then getting those 3 running backs and those two wide receivers.
Yeah, he's got some better wide receivers, obviously. I feel like, Ertz is going to put up as many points as Evans, I feel. So, and maybe even Tyreek, but
I think he also got a favor with that Akers pick. I think with most people being dynasty related, like he's not going to fall like that far. Like
I shouldn't have reached on Jimmy G either, so.
I don't think that's a reach, man.
It was a reach for this draft is the way it turned out. I don't think it's bad in the 6th. I just think I had Lamar Jackson. I should have gone Lockett, right there.
Yeah, especially with like someone like Jared Goff being in the end of the 8th, like that, like, and even like Big Ben middle of the 8th and Drew Lock in the 10th. Like it was, I don't see the quarterbacks falling quite like this.
But even there, when I'm near the turn, I can just count off. Okay, the worst case scenario is 3 quarterbacks going in that, because you had, well, probably not, because you already had Stafford. So both of you guys already had one. So you're probably not going to take 2 before it comes back to me. So all I have to do is count off 3 names that, as long as I'm comfortable getting any of those 3, when it comes back to my 703, I could just take whoever's left there. And I should have grabbed the guy I wanted first, either Lockett or even Cam Akers, who I kind of was looking at too. I think I was trying to bluff you guys right then, but it didn't work. But Tyler Lockett.
It didn't work.
I think if that would have happened, that'd be a tough decision between like McLaurin, Metcalf, and Swift for that 7.01 for me. I appreciate you letting Lockett fall.
You're welcome. Again, I let a few gems fall to you there with Stafford and Lockett. Yeah. So not my favorite draft for sure. Any other closing thoughts? We're hitting on 2 hours here now, guys. I appreciate you all joining on these mocks and the streams, and I had a great time. I'm almost sad that this is going to be the last one, but I also really want to draft Scott Fishbowl. So
I'm gonna bounce, boys. Have a happy 4th of July, and let's crush the Scott Fishbowl.
Agreed.
Thanks, Dan.
Have a good one, Dan.
See you, gentlemen. Thank you.
I will sign off here then to Fusion Fantasy Football podcast. YouTube, obviously, if you're watching this, but that's not where most of my stuff goes. Usually it's the podcast, find anywhere on Twitter at FusionFFB. You can find, Jake's got his up on the screen, JSnake_DFF. George is at BFTG Pod. And Dan just left me. I will be getting a tweet out with everyone who was a part of this in there. So thank you to everyone for this one and all the other ones that you were part of. I really appreciate it. Like I was telling Jake, I can't believe you guys are wasting 2 hours of your night with me. So thanks.
We had a choice. You or our families.
Hey, this has really helped my own thought process, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, same here. Like I got to do 3 different drafts with you. I got to draft 3 different styles. One I went all wide receivers. One was just a smorgasbord that I just want to forget even happened. And then the one tonight, and I like the one tonight a lot.
Yeah, you pulled it off, I think, pretty well.
For sure.
I think it worked out pretty well for, was it Benjamin the other night with the 2 tight end thing?
Yeah.
It's a legit way to do it, because just like we were talking about with any of these positions, now that you hit it, you don't have to think about it again. So.
And honestly, going through, after the second round, I did not once look at what tight ends were available.
Why would you?
Especially with Goddard, Hawkinson, Higbee, Hunter Henry, Gronk, way too early, in my opinion.
Yeah. Listen, I like Hunter Henry. another. I like these guys who don't really play football, but they're on football teams apparently, and I like him. But yeah, I think he went way too early. He went what 8-5 for Crocker.
Yeah.
Josh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself with that, sir.
Especially with people like Jared Cook and Noah Fant, Eric Ebron, like all of those tight ends fell to 10th and 11th. Like,
I absolutely love Jared Cook this year. If I didn't need a tight end in this draft, but if I needed one later, like I would definitely look at Jared Cook over those guys.
Yeah, like Jared Cook, I've been getting him at the 10-12, like pretty consistently, which I'm super stoked with.
Yeah, that's absolutely phenomenal.
Hopefully that happens in the real one. I got some snakes in it, so who knows?
So, through previous years' experience, I think quarterbacks are gonna go a lot earlier, like they did the last draft we did together, not this one. And I even think some of these tight ends are gonna go earlier than what they did tonight, just because people are gonna panic because there's a premium on them, and they're gonna want to get them.
I'll appreciate that all day.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
The mock we had, the second one we did on Monday, I think, was the most similar to what will really happen. I think.
Yep.
That one I learned a ton from. I was picking out of the two, so it wasn't what I actually picking at, but my team got ugly with how many receivers I picked back to back. So I learned my lesson.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway for me on that draft was you got to be flexible, and for anybody who's listening or watching, you got to be flexible in the Scott Fish draft. If you see quarterbacks going early, even if you don't feel comfortable taking them at the value that they're currently at, if everybody else is taking them, you're going to have to go ahead and punt the value and get one, or else you're going to end up like I did and go through 13 rounds and only have Russell Wilson as your only quarterback, which is gross, by the way. It does not make you feel good at all.
Yeah, I'd say I would also add that Josh had a good point related to like don't freak out and reach at a certain position if you're a little thin. Like stay patient and just run with the plan. Like you do have to reach, like you were saying, George, and just you do have to sometimes reach for that quarterback or something like that. But like you said, be flexible. Don't get into one strategy.
It's more about understanding the tiers at that point. Like you might have to move up how early you would take a tier, but that doesn't mean you reach on an entire, group at the same time. It just find those players for me, like I talked about a couple of times here. After Breeze goes, it's like the last of that top tier for me. So then I'm like, I'll sit out the next tier if I can't get one of those kind of things. So just kind of know where those players are. And I mean, when Ryan goes, I know I need to start looking at Stafford. If Stafford goes, I know I need to start looking at for my Ryan or Tom Brady. Depending on which they go first. But just kind of these groups that you can pick out, and depending on where you are in the draft, you're in the middle, you'll be able to adapt a little bit quicker. It's a little harder on the ends because you have to take a little bit of a guessing game. But yeah,
so we've done
these few names creates a quick little easy rule to follow for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've done these drafts, the three of us done these drafts all three times together.
Yep.
Looking at how the drafts went for the guys who drafted in the beginning, the middle, and then the end, the way the drafts have shook out, do you feel there's an advantage drafting in any particular range, whether it's the beginning, middle, or end? Like I know the beginning has its advantages. The middle has its advantages. You're more likely to catch a run than be on the backside of a run. And then you got the end where it's, the same thing as the beginning where you can completely miss a run if it's happening right after you picked. But do you think anybody's got an advantage?
I think it just relates to when you get hit by the runs. Like if a run happens and it helps get value back to the 1.01 sort of slot. Like I feel like this draft did that for me relatively well. And so that worked out, but I've had it before to where it was the complete opposite. So it may be more draft dependent.
Yep.
I did pick the 1.01 for a reason though. That was CMC and the stability that provides, but I also understand wanting to be either later in the middle to see who falls to you. who may have a slip in value and you snatch that up. So I guess no, there is no one.
What about you, Josh? You think there's any advantage?
I think I find myself liking a lot of the teams that are in the 9, 10, 11 range. I don't really like myself picking right in the middle usually, but and I'm not sure. I like the 6, 7, 8, but the 4 or 5 wouldn't be too bad either if I didn't have the 3. The 3 is almost too close to the end and the 1 without getting, the advantages of the 1 anymore. So, I kind of went 3. I figured I could for sure get who I wanted there, but I wonder if 4 or 5 doesn't pick up some better values. I look at who those guys were taken out even just in this draft, and they were able to grab a lot of values and adjust maybe to the runs a little faster.
Looking at this draft, like I don't even really see where we had any major runs. I mean, I guess you could say we had a mini run in quarterbacks in the 3rd, but for the most part,
there in the 4th, 5th, 6th.
I guess the 4 that went, you could consider that a run.
Well, you had Allen Robinson right there, Byron, at 5.5, kind of started off another little run of wide receivers.
Okay, yeah.
And so he was able to grab that, before it even started. I feel like you can even start. It's not just react, but you can also kind of anticipate when you're in the middle a little bit more. And then, of course, he grabbed Juju at the end. So he started it off, and then he ended it with Juju.
No, not a bad consolation prize. I wish it would work out like that for me. I just completely forgot Juju was there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be working on my own sort of running back, wide receiver tiers. I already have some QB and tight end tiers, but it's so easy to forget, especially with how wonky some of the ADP is. It just takes one person being 30 spots lower than you think.
And the thing is it's gonna be even worse on MFL.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, do you know if they're inputting Scott Fishbowl mock ADP into MFL, or is it just straight up MFL ADP?
I think it's just straight up MFL ADP. I don't think they're entering the mock draft ADP.
Man, I'm about to have a checklist. I'm gonna turn off the ESPN 100 redraft and just start slicing people off or something. That stresses me out.
I will message Scott or Ryan and see if I can get them to answer that question for me. But I believe it is straight off of the MFL draft, not these mocks. Which, if that's the case,
Jake's going to be in the grocery store and pulling out a piece of paper, looking at his phone. People are going to be thinking he's looking at a grocery list, and he's actually just checking off his list. He actually just went on the clock, and he's just checking off on the list of the players.
He's going to have the phone in one hand. He's going to have the grocery list or the ADP list in the other, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just comparing my grocery list to my wife's. It's okay."
No, if it's an ADP, I literally am going to print out the whatever ESPN list that's for half PPR and just post it up so I at least have it. Because it's so easy to have someone slip because you're like, oh, crap. Like Todd Gurley, I didn't even realize he was still on the board.
Yeah. So what I find myself doing, or at least I did last year, is looking at the drafts and the divisions that are around you. Because when you look on MFL, like each one has 4 divisions, so you can actually go in and look and see what their draft has been so far, and that will help you as well.
That's a good idea. Sweet.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll sign off now. Give these guys a follow. Thanks for watching and listening. If you are listening to this and you're not in the Scott Fish Bowl, I don't understand.
Go sign up. He's already taking signups for next year.
Yes, it did. It just opened. Already there was
like 1,000 people.
I was 1,500 and something, and I was like, what?
I almost made my birth year. I was off by 4. I got 1984. If it had been 1980, it would have been my birth year.
Yeah,
That's
so sign up for that, scottfishbowl.com, and fantasycares.net, of course, is where you can donate. So do that. Thank you, guys. Good luck, everyone, in the actual Scott Fish Bowl. I'm sure we will continue to be chatting and everything, and hope to see you all in the playoffs.
All right. Have a good night. Happy 4th of July, gentlemen. Be safe.
Yeah, see y'all later.
Happy 4th of July. See you.